insanity. It is a light show. Almost 250 lightning strikes just in this tiny little corner of Northeast Ohio. So this storm is electric. It is also hanging out, dumping water on portions of Ashtabula County. It's kind of the north central part of Ashtabula. And when we're looking at these areas where there is some of this rotation, these spikes of green show us that that's where the strongest winds are currently located. So now we're to the east of Allen's Quarter, and it's moving very slowly to about the state line. That is just one part of the story, though, that 40-mile-per-hour winds, because you might be thinking, okay, that's strong, but nothing too damaging. You also have to grab the red side, and you kind of add those two together. So now we have a 70-mile-per-hour storm. If it is a tornado on the ground, that would probably be an EF0, EF1, but bottom line, it can still cause damage, and the lightning and the hail, too. We're flipping over to another button here. Happy to report that the hail has come down. If we go back 15 minutes, look at that. This hail, that white, is 3-inch plus hail over Plymouth. And now, as we've moved in the last 15 minutes, then we got rid of that white section, which was the highest and biggest hail. Then we just had that area of black. Now that's also gone. So there's, oh, it just came back up. This can happen sometimes where you have these storms and they oscillate in their strength. But bottom line, there is severe hail in this storm. And also there's a heavy rain threat as well. This is our rain rate. Again, these are all estimates, but let's get you a look here. 7.2 inches an hour. And reminder, it is moving incredibly slow. So that's why we also have a risk for flash flooding today. We have one flash flood warning in the state, or actually two, one close to our viewing area. Not technically, it's over in Toledo. There is a severe thunderstorm warning for Port Clinton as well. And I told you that if you live in the area, we're going to give you a bigger view of everything that's going on. Basically, the greatest threat for severe storms at this time is in our northern communities, over the islands, over Ashtabula, kind of right in our two corners, northwest and northeast. Elsewhere, it's not super impressive. Let's put the lightning strikes on just for a second. We've got some lightning over Litchfield, but these are all just garden variety showers. These are healthy, good-looking showers that we need for our drought. What we don't want to see is what's happening over in Warren, Niles, Youngstown. Heavy rain, frequent lightning, likely getting some hail there as well. And then the worst of them all is the pink flashing box. That is your tornado warning. That is going to be in effect for another 15 minutes. We're sitting at 1:30 in the afternoon on your Wednesday. Tornado warning issued for the northeast corner of Ashtabula County. So the worst of this rotation currently hanging out, we got to get rid of the lightning, unfortunately, is hanging out in between Allen's Quarter and Riggs. It is still just radar indicated, but there is the suggestion with our radar and the tools that we have that the storm has about 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. Severe thunderstorm warnings are issued at 58 miles per hour. So this can still cause damage. You also have the lightning, you have the heavy rain that could lead to flooding, and you also have the hail, a multi-threat storm. And the worst of that is going to be exiting here shortly, but we still have this warning for about 15 minutes. So we're going to keep hanging out and keep our friends in northeast Ashtabula, northeast Ohio safe until it moves into northwest PA. In the meantime, let's see if there's any other rotation that we've got. Nothing too impressive. So you see how this is all just a nice shade of green. No problems there. This little spike, this is the problem. This is why we have a tornado warning issued right there. Oh, the pink matches the pink for the pink tornado warning. And if you live inside that box, you'll hear a ton of lightning outside when thunder roars, get indoors. And if you're in the box, I want you in that pink box to get into your safe place, whether that's a basement, a closet, an interior bathroom. Get away from windows because there are strong winds, regardless if this is a tornado or not. The bright green is showing me that we have wind speeds potentially of 60 to 70 miles per hour with this storm, but it is slowly, painstakingly slowly moving out of our viewing area. So we've got about a 20-mile per hour moving storm. It's moving to the east, and so that's why there are portions of Erie County and also Crawford County in Pennsylvania included in this warning, because the National Weather Service is going to be continuing to monitor it as it moves into northwest PA. There's also, that's good. I'll take it back just a minute. We did have a severe thunderstorm warning over Port Clinton and the islands. That has now allowed to expire. And we still have some heavy rain as well, particularly across the lake. It is pouring there. A little pocket right over my mom and dad over in Wickliffe. Heavy rain there. Lighter showers into Menor on the lake. And then the same problem. This is the problem right here. Even in the air, this storm is just incredibly powerful. So that's why it has that multi-risk. So the heavy rain, and it's moving so slow. I would not be surprised if we get at least at a minimum from the National Weather Service after this, some type of flood advisory because of the fact, look at this, let's see, 2.3 inches. So that's very close to what Toledo saw earlier today. 2-3 inches of rain in a really short period of time. We can actually take it back about an hour, nothing at 12:33. Now look at that, in 1 hour, 2 to 3 inches. So do not be surprised if you have a flash flood warning or potentially a flood advisory. Probably a flood advisory, but we'll see. We'll keep you posted. And as I mentioned before, take flash flood warnings as seriously as a tornado warning. It's not time to go run a quick errand that you've been putting off. Do it later today when all of the storms have moved out of our neck of the woods, because you can have ponding on the roadways. It doesn't take much water for there to be serious issues on the roads. It can be difficult to see. And in the meantime, we also have the risk of hail. We still have, so that purple color is 1 inch hail, but then this area in black here, that's 2 inch hail. So certainly can cause damage from hail that large. It's not the biggest we've seen. In fact, after the storm passes, for any folks that live in Plymouth and you were hammered by the hail that we had there, I'll take it back just a second. There we go. That hail, 3 inches. If you have any damage or pictures or anything after the storm passes, because you were still in a tornado warning, but let's say in the next half hour or something, able to go and survey the scene and see if you did get any damage, whether it was from hail or the potential from also what we have here with this tornado warning. So actually, unfortunately, I think that the rotation is picking up just a smidge. We still have very similar colors when we're seeing those spikes of red and green. The speed hasn't necessarily picked up more, so still 60, 70 mile per hour winds. But it's ever so slightly, I mentioned it before, each one of these little boxes is a gate. And when you start to get gate to gate shear, oh, I liked what I see there. That was a decrease. Let's go back. Did you guys all see that too? Let's take it back one. So this is what it looks like right now. It's still rotating. But in comparison to what we had, see how that bright green came down, that bright red came down? That means that the storm's weakening slightly. There is still rotation in this area from Monroe Center over into Riggs, into Ship. This is where the heart of this storm is at in terms of a tornadic potential, in terms of hail, in terms of lightning, in terms of heavy rain. Multi-threat event with this tornado warning. But we're almost out of our viewing area into Pennsylvania, but because it's moving so slow, it'll likely take us to the very end of this tornado warning, which was issued around 1:15 in the afternoon. I'm going to just check with the National Weather Service and see if they have mentioned anything about any damage or anything. Doesn't look like it. They continue the hail is 1.5 inches, so very close to what our radar was indicating. They don't have anything though about damage that's been reported yet. So if you have damage, as I mentioned, after this tornado warning's over, give us 1:45 once the warning's over, 2 o'clock, go out, survey the scene safely, because there's so much going on. There's that threat for lightning. It is absolutely bananas with how much lightning there is in just this little box. 309 lightning strikes. When you zoom in a little bit more, it obviously goes down because it's also rocking and rolling with lightning around Madison and also Wickliffe. It's technically most of that lightning's over the lake, but you probably are able to hear it around the 3 W's, Willowick, Wickliffe, Willoughby, or did I say them all? Wickliffe, Willoughby, Willowick. Wow, I just had a real brain fart there. And if you're just joining us right now, we do have that tornado warning. Probably not the best time to join when I couldn't think of that last W. But you see that we have a tornado warning over in Ashtabula County. It is very slowly moving out. The reason that it's issued is because of radar indication. So we're looking at something known as velocity. You're used to seeing the reflectivity look like this, right? This is the normal radar that we show on a regular news day. This is what we're showing you. But one of the coolest parts about radar today is that we're able to dive and look at different layers of a storm. And so we're able to see rotation on this storm. And what we don't want to see is essentially the red and green on the wrong side. So you've got green to the west of Cleveland, red to the east. And that's how it's always supposed to stay. But when you have this little spike of green right here on the wrong side, it should always be to the west of Cleveland. So when you start to see that, that's how you know that there is some rotation. Rotation is key in developing hail, but also, of course, it's key in developing tornadoes too. And there are strong winds. Again, even if there's not a tornado on the ground, respect this storm, respect this polygon, get inside if you haven't already, or you have friends, family, check in with them, make sure that they're aware of the threat that is ongoing in Ashtabula County. Just picking up a couple of these little spikes here, and that's after the worst of the storm has passed, 30 to 40 miles per hour. And then we zoom in a little bit closer here. We'll grab one of these brighter colors, that green, 30, okay, 45. So we kind of add them together, so 75 mile per hour winds right in this little section around Bushnell, Monroe Center, kind of getting the worst of the wrath of this storm right in this area. And it is moving to the east very slowly at around 20 miles per hour. It will get out of our viewing area shortly, but still want to monitor it because we care about our friends in northwest or northeast Ohio in Ashtabula County, living near Bushnell, living near Monroe Center, and because it's not just the risk of a tornado. This storm is powerful in a variety of ways. Heavy rain, hail, huge hail has been reported on the radar here today. Frequent lightning, heavy rain. It's a mess out there. And not everyone's dealing with the same conditions. This is a very isolated event that we're dealing with in Ashtabula County. There is a flash flood warning over Toledo, but elsewhere, no one else, if you get your weather from us at Power 5, no one else currently has a warning. There is, however, a severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect from now until 9 p.m. That includes Cuyahoga, that includes Lake, Geauga, down into Portman, Ashtabula, clearly seeing some severe weather, and then also down into Trumbull and Mahoning County as well. No one else is included in that. So it's almost like a lake effect snow warning or something that's really favoring our most north and eastern communities. And that's where we're going to have the threat for some strong to severe storms. And right now, I mean, it looked like earlier today the bigger concern would be more to the south and east, but right now it's rocking and rolling farther to the north, and it's not super impressive down to the south. There's definitely lightning strikes. We got about 2 lightning strikes over in Worcester, so a nice thunderstorm getting some decent rain, but you compare it to spots where it has a lot of energy. It's all in northern Ashtabula and our northern communities right along that immediate lakeshore. And it is going to continue if you have friends that live in Erie County, particularly in the southern portion of Erie County near Albion, over into Conneautville, Spring. It is going to be moving there. And it hasn't had with this storm. I'll have a feeling that the National Weather Service will likely continue to monitor this tornado warning as it moves into PA, because our National Weather Service that we get warnings from is in Cleveland. They also cover a small portion of Pennsylvania, and so they'll be watching it as it continues to move into PA. But we should be able to drop once the warning expires for us at 1:45. We should be able to send back to programming because it is exiting the building of Northeast Ohio. But you still are going to have, even after this storm moves through, we've got really strong winds over Riggs right now. It is an impressive wind speeds. You've got a couple spots here, 50 mile per hour winds, but keep in mind that that's only one little area that we're looking at. And the reason why we have the tornado warning issued is because it's not just the green, it's the red too. So it's more like 60, 70 mile per hour winds. And these are estimates too. If there's enough damage, that's when the National Weather Service will go out and try to determine, was this just a hailmaker? Was it just rotating higher in the sky? Or did we get that funnel, touch down, create damage? It might be, there's multiple spots that might have damage from hail, damage from straight line winds, and potentially, that's why we have the tornado warning, potentially damage from the tornado warning. We still have that included. Plymouth, the worst of the storm is past you. You're still in the flashing box. It is still pouring rain out there, heavy, heavy rain, and it is still frequent lightning. So don't go outside yet, but the worst of the risk has passed for you. Where we have the intensity is around Monroe Center. We've got State Route 7 right here over rigs and ships, and then we're getting into Pennsylvania at that point. So timing-wise, this will take us basically exactly to 1:45, maybe a little bit after. That's where we'll wait for the National Weather Service to see where they shift this tornado warning. Are they going to let it come down, or are they going to continue it into Pennsylvania as well? It's now hovering over the state line. And there's still decent winds. I mean, but it doesn't look but we're really far away from the radar site. So there's always something to keep in mind. I would say that in the last 15 minutes at around 128, that was some of the strongest wind speeds that we saw as we've continued to move the storm to the east. It is weakening in strength. So it'll be interesting to see what the National Weather Service does. It is not pretty, but it's also not the worst rotation that I've ever seen. I know it's a tornado kind of deal. It's a little bit of a question mark. I was more impressed and concerned about this hail, and we still have that hail, huge hail, maybe 2-inch hail right now around Monroe Center. That is going to be hanging out there for another 5 minutes or so, and then continuing to shift into PA. And then we also have the frequent lightning and the heavy rain. This is a 3-hour rainfall amounts that we've seen in Ashtabula County. That area in yellow, the highest rainfall, around 2-3 inches of rain. Heavy rain throughout the afternoon for everybody, even if you don't care about what's happening in Ashtabula. Heavy rain is going to be a concern. And while we're on the air here, we have the tornado warning, of course, but we also just got a severe thunderstorm warning for Paynesville, Mentor, so that's all over Lake County. Because that's for large hail again, and also for wind gusts of 60 miles per hour. So let's get our eyes on this. Oh, it's right here. This is the problem. Right around Timberlake. It's getting a little bit closer. Chagrin Harbor. First off, you can note the intense rainfall. You've got a little bit of rotation here as well. So this will have to something we're monitoring as well as it continues to move into Mentor on the lake, Mentor Acres, Mentor, Paynesville. We'll be monitoring this, making sure that it doesn't try to follow suit with what happened in Ashtabula. And now that tornado warning, as I had mentioned, I wasn't super impressed with the rotation. It had come down. So they went ahead and continued with a severe thunderstorm warning for Ashtabula County as that center of rotation moves out. And in the meantime, we have a new warning now, and that includes all of Lake County, well, most of Lake County. Let me get my bearings here. Yeah, it's right over Lake County. So it includes Willoughby, Mentor on the lake. This is issued for hail and also for damaging straight line winds of 60 miles per hour. So while we're getting rid of one bad storm, we still have hail over Geneva. We also have hail over Mentor. Anywhere else? Nope, this is the problem, right all up in here, right along I-90. So I am going to, and also while I have you here, we'll come back out to camera because I'll wrap up this tornado warning, that we do have the severe thunderstorm watch in effect for Cuyahoga, Lake, Geauga, Ashtabula, down into Trumbull, Portage, and Mahoning County until 9 p.m. I think the risk for severe storms comes way down at around 7 to 8 p.m., but this shows us that what we're having right now with the hail, it's multi-layered. We have the risk for tornadoes, clearly. We've already had that radar indication, but we also, big concern is going to be hail and heavy rain. I'm very concerned about the risk for flash flooding throughout this afternoon. So we will continue to post updates as needed. And as always, stay safe. We will cut back in as needed. Be sure to get warnings on a variety of ways, your phone, on social media. And of course, as I mentioned, we will cut in if we need to. Have a safe afternoon.
Highlighting, lips, so many different options. So to have 2-in-1 products in one is pretty fabulous. Everything from the line is great, especially when you get to save 50% starting at $5. We do love it. Another great brand, this is Spa Life, and they're really all about kind of elevating your bit of me time with accessibly priced beauty options. Some of their masks are what they're known for. That you could feel that right here. These are the soothing gloves. I opened them, but you would stick these on and get just a hydration treatment. We've got them for hands and feet. We also have one of their newest products, which are their serum bundles. So you get vitamin C serum, hyaluronic acid serum, and retinol serum. Everything here is all about being accessibly priced, so our deals start at $20 per set plus free shipping.
Free
Really
shipping.
good. We love the free shipping.
Sunscreen.
We also love sunscreen. Ours and Alps. It makes it easy for you to want to apply your sunscreen because not only do you get protection, but that you also get nourishing, moisturizing ingredients that are good for your skin.